Here's Johnny.
Welcome to my nightmare.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Let me play with this, Daddy.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Fear Freaks podcast. My name is Braden.
I'm Destiny.
And we are the Fear Freaks. So I do apologize for being just a little late tonight. I see some of you. I've seen that we've gotten a good amount of chatters in the chat section to start. So thank you guys so much for being here. Yeah, I know I was talking too fast. I was trying to make something make sense out of that. So, but anyway, the reason we're late tonight, I did see Chad's comment saying, Braden, don't you hate when a certain co-host is late? Yeah, no, but it's okay. I've been late a fair amount of times too. Right? Like, so I can't really, be too salty. So,
Yeah. Also, I still don't fucking understand why the time changing affects
daylight savings time. So daylight saving time is a thing now. I'm in Arizona. Arizona does not change time ever. It's always the same time here. Our clock just never changes. But in different areas of the country, there's a thing called daylight savings time. And in this particular case, Destiny is in Central Time. And on the East Coast, anyone watching from the East Coast, it's probably 8:15. It is 7:15 where Destiny is. Now, I understand this because she just thought that we still started at 8 o'clock, but in this case, we started early. Y'all should have seen she was hustling around. It was almost like watching Home Alone, just like watching everyone hustle around, trying to get everything. But yeah, we're here now. We're here.
So does that mean now until the time changes again, it'll be 7 o'clock my time?
Correct. That is correct. So
that would have been really cool to know.
Yep. So now what happens is you get to go to bed an hour earlier too. So, as soon as we get done, you can lay in bed for the night, all that stuff,
Sick. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I know. So, yeah, I had such a busy day today at work, but part of me was almost just should I message her and just be like, just so you know, our show is at 7 o'clock your time tonight, but my day got so far away from me that I was like, no, I'm sure she knows, because I'm sure she's going to be happy that,
I did not know. I was getting
in fact,
ready.
She didn't.
Watching my YouTube.
She had to actually open, I think, how many, 7 or 8 gifts from me, with someone pointing at the time. And each time I sent, I'm that person, each time I will send a new GIF, just to fill up your messages. So if anybody ever gets messages like that from someone, just know it's probably more than likely me. So yeah, but who we got in the chat tonight, man? We've got Grubby1. What is going on? Thank you so much for being here early. Unlike someone.
This is a legitimate thing. I did not fucking know, or else I would have been on time.
Hey, you know what? Next time I'm late, make sure you just give me a wad of shit for it too. For
I will, because usually I don't say anything.
Yeah, I know. But I'm always the total opposite. So she never says anything, and yet I always give her the most shit.
Literally, when you sent me the TikTok, you said, I know it's not the link you're expecting. I was like, I still have an hour. What is he fucking talking about?
I know. No, yeah. Well, you opened that right away, and then I saw you're active, and then I'm like, well, where the fuck you going? Get back here!
Get back here!
So, Lamontre Gillard, what's going on, man? Chad, what's going on? This is funny because I think of Spider-Man 2. I always think of the pizza guy in the beginning. He's always late. I just watched that this past weekend, so that's why I'm thinking of that. But yeah. Good Real, Bretman, what's going on? Welcome in. Gory Tiger, what up? 5-Star Media. This is 2 weeks in a row, right? I think this is his second week back, or is this third?
Second one, yeah.
Second week back. Welcome back again, buddy. Good to have you in here. Byron Weaver, what is going on? Literally, actually, Bretman did text me today, and he actually thought that the show, he was like, did you make a mistake putting this show this early? And I'm like, no, I actually didn't. This is accurate. I promise you, I am accurate. Chasing the Dream, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you guys so much for being here. And Denise, what is going on? Everyone else that comes into the chat from here on out, we will address you guys at some point during the stream. I promise we do not hate you guys. We just got our topic to get to. But before we get into our topic, Destiny, what's happening in your world of horror this week? What's going on?
Damn. I watched a movie called The Curse of Bridge Hollow. It is not full-on horror. It's more like a family time sort of movie. That was cute. I really liked that. I watched that yesterday. I watched another movie yesterday, and it was not horror, but it was really weird. And I only watched it because Joseph Quinn said he recently watched it, and I was like, what is this movie about? And I liked it. There's just some parts in it that I was like, because the director that directed it, it's supposed to be like his life. And so there's some parts of it that I was like, why would you include that? He loves his aunt. Like, and I was like, in love with his aunt. And I was like, whoa. So I don't know. It was different. I did like it.
Don't you just love backwoods movies like that? Like,
I was like watching it, and then she's like naked, and I was like, and then there's a whole scene with an older woman. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck is happening? But I did watch that. Not horror, but it's called The Hand of God. It's on Netflix. It's an Italian movie, but I watched that yesterday, and I don't really know what else.
Interesting. Well, hey, I can help you out here. You did have Stranger Things Day. That was a big thing. So I saw that, you posted some stuff for Stranger Things Day. That was a big thing this past week.
Yeah, I rewatched episode 1 of season 4, episode 4, and then episode 9. And I was bawling my eyes out once again, but I did watch it. And Bailey hasn't seen all of Stranger Things. He really hasn't seen much of Stranger Things, but he was watching that finale with me because he was just sitting there. And there's a part where he was like laughing at something. He's like, wow, that's really sad. Laughing. I look over at him and there's like tears pouring. And I was like, it's not the time to be making jokes right now. Okay. I'm going to lose it. Okay.
Yeah. You're
so
like,
I did rewatch
so
some
just shut the fuck up and just watch the show. Yeah.
Like, yeah, literally. I'm like, I think it was whenever Dustin was talking to Wayne at the end. And I was like, don't even say a word right now. I'm too upset. But yeah, I can't really remember like what else I watched. I don't think I really watched too much other like horror stuff. I watched a few like comedies recently. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, for me, horror-wise, I think last week I tried to take as much of a break from horror as I could, being that Halloween just ended, like I try and kind of just move on into something else, and then we wrap ourselves around, like when we get things to talk about on the show, like we obviously wrap ourselves up into some sort of thriller or horror or whatever. This past weekend, I actually watched the first 2 Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire. So, rewatch those. I will say there is actually a horror scene that kind of resembles horror in Spider-Man 2. And for all you superhero fans that are in the chat, you guys would know this. It's when Doc Ock is in there, he's getting surgery done and the mechanical arms come to life. And it's like pretty much like a slaughterhouse in the surgical room or whatnot. So I definitely think that that kind of, and I was actually watching it. Abby was watching it with me, and like she actually was like looking at me. She was like, "Isn't this supposed to be like lighthearted?" I'm like, "No, it's not." Like, so that's obviously Sam Raimi directed that, so he's obviously got a good horror resume as well. So I do think that that kind of resembles the closest thing I saw to horror this week. And I do also want to say that I see Brett Man talking about The Spider's Nest. Me, Brett Man, and Chris Snyder, we're going to be doing a superhero show called The Spider's Nest. So we're going to be talking all things superheroes and all that. And Destiny, that actually did not come from what you sent me this weekend regarding a spider's nest. So this actually was a name that I had. I was like thinking of a good like superhero like show, and I was like, hey, The Spider's Nest. It's like the spider and everything. So yeah, definitely excited to start talking about some superhero stuff with them. So make sure, if you guys haven't already, go subscribe to the new channel. I did post it in my community section. I think we have our first show coming up next week after Black Panther comes out tomorrow night, so we can include that in our overall Marvel ranking. So yeah, but other than that, that's pretty much it for me and horror. Let's get into our topic of tonight, and that is I shouldn't say the most talked about, but one of the most talked about horror movies of 2022, and that is Barbarian. Now, this is a movie that honestly just kind of like showed up. Like there was very little marketing behind it. Like I remember seeing like I think we only got one trailer. I think we got like one poster, and then it just kind of showed up in theaters, and I didn't really know what to expect going into it. I didn't see it in theaters. This is actually like one of those like movies like where I'm pretty sure everybody saw it before I did, because I didn't see it before. I think Destiny and I actually watched it on the same day, the day it came on to HBO Max, which it's currently on. So if you guys haven't seen it, I do also want to warn you that there will be spoilers. I did see Bretman post his comment saying that there are spoilers, that we will be talking spoilers. So yeah, I think that yeah, Destiny, what'd you think of Barbarian?
I remember when that first trailer came out because it has Bill Skarsgård in it. So immediately I was like, oh, a new horror movie with them. And I watched the trailer, and I remember watching it and I was like, okay, that looks okay. Because to me, it looked typical. And I remember going back and I was like, holy shit, is that Justin Long? Because he's in the trailer for like a split second. So I kept having to rewind to make sure it was him. And like you said, besides that, I didn't really hear anything about it. After I saw that trailer, I thought it was just going to be like okay. And I thought it was going to be like a straightforward sort of she's good, Bill Skarsgård's the villain sort of movie. And then when it came out in theaters and everyone was talking about it, talking about how like crazy it was, and like you just want to expect where it goes and stuff, I was like, is this the same Barbarian that I watched this trailer for? Because it doesn't look like anything too like out of the ordinary, I guess. But everyone kept talking about how fucking crazy it was, and then it was making good money because this and Smile came out around the same time, and you know it's like a movie that's sort of a standalone that's doing really well at the box office. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I watched it that day it came to HBO Max, and the only thing I knew going into it was part of the movie plays out and then it kind of completely switches and it's almost like you're watching a different movie. So I was like waiting for that. But the movie's crazy. I definitely did not see any of like what happened. Like I was not expecting any of that. And for that I really liked it. Like it gets weird, it gets kind of crazy. It kind of reminds me of like Malignant in a way. How like Malignant, I kind of went in thinking it was going to be like a straightforward sort of like slasher type movie, but it really wasn't. It was, but it wasn't. I feel like that's what this movie was. So to me, it feels like this year's like Malignant because I feel like you just won't see where this movie's going like at all. I really liked it. It's weird.
Yeah, see, I haven't even seen Malignant yet. And I know that's been out since like last September, and I haven't seen it yet, which is honestly disheartening for me because I love James Wan, like, you know, and I haven't seen it. So
Isn't it on HBO Max?
it is, yeah, and it actually was last year too. Like it actually came out on HBO Max last September. It also premiered the same day in the theater, and yet I still haven't seen it. Like I don't know where I've been. But yeah, that is definitely a movie I do want to see. I've heard some people that really like it. Some people that kind of like wish it would have been a little bit better. I can't really judge it because I haven't seen it. I do know that was a movie though that had a lot of hype leading up to it because I mean it's fucking James Wan. I think that we can all consider James Wan a master when it comes down to the horror genre. I think that he's delivered countless good films within horror. So yeah, this movie though, like from just this movie as a standalone, I enjoyed it, but I do gotta say I wasn't as big on it as a whole lot of people. You know, like a lot of people were like hyping it up, saying that this is easily the best horror movie of the year. I honestly would probably put a couple more in front of this. Now, is it in like top 5, top 10? Yeah. I honestly, on like my top 5 list, I might put it like right at number 5. Like I might put it like right, if it's a top 10 list, that's like right in the middle. Like, that's about where I would put it. But I do think that there have been better horror movies that I've seen this year that I've just enjoyed more than I did this. Now, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy this movie. I just think that like I was like watching it waiting. Now there are some crazy shit that happens, and there is a big twist in the movie, which we will get to. But like I'm sitting there and I'm like watching it and I'm like, okay, when's the really crazy shit like about to start playing out, And none of that ever happened. But I did definitely enjoy the movie for a fact. So story is a woman, she shows up at this Airbnb that she's supposed to be staying at, and she gets there. Another guy played by Bill Skarsgård is currently there. And I already know a lot of ladies was like, well, if Bill Skarsgård was at that door, I'm staying for the night for a fact. I know, like Destiny, I'm honestly like watching this movie and I'm like, yo, Destiny's probably thinking this is like best case scenario. Like she shows up to an Airbnb, she's on a trip by herself, and Bill Skarsgård is staying in that Airbnb. She's like, I'm fucking staying.
Oh yeah. If you would have opened that door, I'd be like, oh. And, make sure it's like legit. He's not lying, What she does, she makes sure she sees the confirmation. And then when I would see that, I'd be like, okay, this is crazy. Look, I read a lot of fan fiction. Okay. So if that was me, I'd be like, this is my time to shine. This is my story. So yes, I would have right in that house. If it was Bill Skarsgård.
Right. Like, I mean, like if it's like, I'm thinking like in the perspective of like Destiny, like as this whole thing is playing out, like he's like, you want some wine? Yeah, I'll have some wine with you. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then he's like, I'll sleep on the couch. Destiny's like, no, you could come sleep. You can like just come on in.
This bed is big enough for both of us. Like, what are you talking about?
It's huge. Get in the bed. Why are you so far? Like,
get over here. Yeah.
That's honestly, I'm just like thinking about this. I'm like, yep, this is all stuff. Like, this is like Destiny's like fantasy dream right now, is like showing up to a house where Bill Skarsgård is. No. But like, so she gets there, this guy, rightfully so, though. Like, I mean, like now we're looking at it, Destiny, we're looking at it from a general guy perspective, like not a guy perspective, but like this is just like a random guy, right? Like, so she shows up, this random dude answers the door, and he's like talking to her, saying that he rented out this place, and she's like, yeah, so did I. So they're trying to figure out that situation. He invites her in, and yeah, the trailer does make it seem like that he is going to be involved with this or be like the main villain of this. And I mean, I like that he actually wasn't. I actually like that he genuinely was actually trying to call these shitheads and try and figure out what the issue was. Now, it did seem like that these two started to form feelings for one another, so it's like you could see that they had a really great time. I also understand that like when the door opens in the middle of the night, that can make somebody feel very unsettled and everything. So, she definitely had like the right to, kind of like question, like, did you open my door? Yada, yada, yada. But yeah, like that whole thing happened. And that's like where like the creepy factor kind of comes in. Cause it's like, you want to see this thing. You're like, okay, who is this? Is it him? Is it something else? Is it somebody else? Yeah, like, I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah. Because like what I like about the movie is like, I think for most people, they're probably expecting Bill Skarsgård to be the villain because we've seen him do it so many times, and he does it so well. So when, he opens the door and he did rent it out and she asks for confirmation, like she sees his email, checks out. She takes a picture of his like driver's license, checks out. Like she's doing like all the things that you should do. She doesn't take the tea that he makes. She's like, no, I'm good. He's like, I'm still going to make it. She doesn't drink it. Understandably so. This is a stranger because he could have drugged the drink. Because I feel like that's just something, especially, you have to be aware of your surroundings, especially with men. So you have to be aware of these things. And I really like the scene, they have to wash the bedding because she doesn't want to sleep on some stranger's sheets, which, again, understandable. You don't know this guy, and he's just been sleeping in this bed. So they wash the sheets, which he helps her do, and he stays up with her. He doesn't open the wine while she's taking a shower because he says, like, oh, I noticed you didn't drink your tea, which I can understand. And he's kind of like rambling on, which I find really cute. And he opens the wine and they start talking, and she's working with this new director, and he's like a part of like the music industry and everything. And so they like talk about that, and they talk about, if the roles were switched, she wouldn't have let him in. And I feel like, when they have that conversation about just like men and like women like going, about their life, she's like, if I was the one in here, I would not let you in. And I feel like that is true. I think when with a guy, when you see a girl show up, you're like, okay, I'm probably safe. But when it's a girl and a guy shows up, absolutely not. Because, I feel like that's just how it has to be. You have to be more aware of things, especially this guy that's like tall as fuck. Bill Skarsgård is huge.
Yeah, no,
and she does not look that big. So
yeah, he is. And then there's also, you take into consideration, and they're also not even in the safest neighborhood to begin with. Like, I mean, you look at that place during the day and you're almost just kind of like, what the fuck? Like,
which later on, shit, we find out later, because it's like, why is this house in such good like repair when everything else is not? Because it's just and I really like that whole part, because when she gets there, it's night and it's like raining outside, so you can't see anything. And then when it's daylight, you get to really see how much this house like stands out in the neighborhood. Because then even she like, is telling the person she's having her interview with, like, where she's staying like, isn't it called, wait, what is the street called? I know it has to do with Barbarian, but Barber?
It's like Barbarian or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and she's like, why are you staying there? Like, that's really, But we get to see like the neighborhood, and then we get the whole part, when she gets back to the house. And that man, which, watching the movie, when the man's running up to her, which I really like, because it's like focused on her and you can see him running up, but she hasn't noticed it yet. And I really like shots like that, to where we see what's happening, but the person doesn't. And the guy's like saying, like, you can't go in there, like, don't go in there. And she's freaking out thinking this guy's like trying to attack her or something.
Yeah.
But when I was watching it, I was like, oh yeah, this guy's going to come back later, because he was trying to save her.
Yeah.
And
no, I mean, that honestly, like, because I thought I saw, like, I was actually, as soon as, like, and this is just more me, like, paying attention to, like, the filmmaking aspect of it. As soon as I saw the shot and it was blurred, like, and you can just see something, like, kind of like walking, I was like, there's a person down there. I know it. And then as soon as I heard the, hey, and then she, like, looks, and he starts taking off towards her. First of all, the music in this movie, oh my God, the music got me a couple of times, like, and that was one of them. Like, I actually, like, felt very unsettled as, like, you could see him, like, running towards her. And that was a very good suspenseful moment, because it's like, not only there during the day do you get a chance to see, like, what the whole neighborhood looks like, like, you get to see how broken down it is, but it's like, it creates suspense to, okay, this guy's running towards this woman. Is she going to make it in the house? She can't find the keys or anything like that. Like, I was like, Halloween reference right there. Like, the keys. But so she makes it inside, and I mean, that's when she starts really discovering stuff about the house. Like, I will say this movie is a pretty big slow burn, because it's like, one part of the movie focuses on this girl and Bill Skarsgård's character, who is what the hell's his name? Keith. So what do you call it? That's like one part of the movie. And then it's like after what happens with Keith, because Keith comes home and he finds her in the basement and stuff like that, and she finds this whole open doorway, which I'm just sitting there and I'm like, this is horror movie logic 101, people. Like, you don't go exploring that. If you find that in a house, especially in a house that you're just staying in, don't go. Stop it.
And like the fact that it's like a hidden room.
Yeah.
There's a rope in the wall and she pulls it and that's when the door opens. Like, it's a hidden room. Like, I get it. I would be curious, but I wouldn't go. You know, I'd be like, okay, that's weird as fuck. I wonder what's down there. I don't need to find out. Let someone else handle that. Because she goes into this one room that she sees and there's a video camera set up, a bed, a bucket, and a bloody handprint. None of that is good. Absolutely none of that is good. And so she's understandably freaked out. She's locked down there. He has to like open up the window. And I don't know if that's like an It reference because it's like the reverse instead of like Pennywise being like in the bottom, you know, in Georgie, it's kind of reversed. So I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if it was intentional or maybe it just worked out perfectly, but I really like that. And then Keith is like, I'm going to go down there. And she's like, no, like I'm leaving. So, and he's like, just let me go down there. Let me check it out. And we like stay here. So still, I don't know whose side I like if I'm supposed to trust Bill Skarsgård yet. So the whole time I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Because then he goes down there and it turns out it goes further down there because there's a whole tunnel at the end, which still, no, don't explore any of this. And so he's going down there and then she's calling out for him. He's not answering. So she goes further into the tunnel and this thing just keeps going. And it's like, you start off like here and then it just goes down. Again, no, don't do that. But I understand
Immediately.
this guy's down there. She's trying to, you know, make sure he's okay so they can both leave. I get why she does when he's down there. But still, he shouldn't have gone down there in the first place, but whatever. And like just like, you know, believe. If something weird is happening and someone's like, something weird is fucking happening, we need to leave, just believe them.
Right.
Just believe them.
I genuinely actually fully believe that if anybody ever tells me something like that, I believe it. I've seen too many scary movies to not believe it, which is kind of funny though, because Abby actually texted me a couple weeks ago. She was home alone and she felt like somebody was watching her in her house. And I felt like I was playing the generic boyfriend, like, you're fine, nobody's watching you, this and that. And I'm sitting there, but in the back of my head, I'm almost just like, well, what if somebody is actually watching her? like, I mean, this is literally prime suspect number one. It's always going to be, if she ends up dead the next day, who do you think the first suspect is going to be? Me. Same thing, like, you know, in your scenario, if you come home and Bailey's dead, guess what? You're the prime suspect.
Always this.
Exactly.
The spouse is always number one.
So, you know, like, I'm sitting there, and then I'm like thinking like horror movie. I'm like, shit. Like, I can't say that. Like, I actually have to like believe this. Like, I need to actually go over there and I need to deep search this house and be like, you know, hey, like, yeah, you're safe. Like, no one's around here.
You are good. You're good.
Yeah, but what do you call it? Like here, like, again, you see a dark cave that you should not go in there. Like, you just shouldn't do it because a lot of shit can happen and there can be things and creatures in there that you don't know about. Because like my biggest fear, like mine is what's actually down there in the movie. My biggest fear is going into something like that and it's a freaking giant spider's nest. And now I'm trapped around all these giant spiders underneath this house. Like that is my worst fear. And I honestly am just like, bite my head off first if that's the case. Because just take me out of my misery. I don't want to be around for what the rest of the stuff you're going to do to my body. Like, yeah. I mean, so this conversation is taking a very big turn. But, you know.
Anyways, Bill Skarsgård. Calling out for help. He goes down there. Help. And then we see Bill Skarsgård scurrying. And I was like, what the fuck is he doing? And then he's like, someone else is down there or down here. They bit me. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Because still, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to be trusting him yet. Like, this could all just be like a coy to like kidnap her or whatever. And then we see the other person come up and bash Bill Skarsgård's head. And I was quite upset because
Yo,
he fucking died.
which, by the way, I cannot even lie, scared the shit out of me. When that thing came, like, and we didn't even really have like a clear look at it yet. It was just like when that thing came running into frame and it grabbed his head and bashed it against the rocks, I was like, what the fuck? And then it cuts to black, and then all of a sudden we're introduced to Justin Long's character. Like,
Driving
yeah, like I'm
on
sitting
the
there.
coast.
Yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, so we can't just go from that to. I honestly thought movies switched. I genuinely thought that. I was like, is HBO playing a trick on me? Is this the start of another movie? Like, what the hell is going on? So, like, yeah, now we get introduced to Justin Long's character after we just witnessed somebody get their freaking brain bashed in. I mean, that was insane though. That kill was really good. But yeah, Justin Long, he is an actor. That's what he does. And he's driving, he's having a good time. He's jamming out to his song. The scenery looks very nice. I'm like, wow. Gets a call, and apparently he touched this woman in a wrong way on a set that they were working on, and she is now suing him. She went to the production company, made her claim and everything, and yeah, everybody's on her side, it seems like, because he's at risk of losing the role, or actually I'm pretty sure he does lose the role because of
He
this.
does, yeah.
And yeah, like he like freaks out, and everybody's pretty much now against this man because, like, you know, he's calling people. He goes to his financial advisor talking about his money and his money situation. Which, like, I was like sitting there, I'm like, this really does show, like, whether, because we never really find out whether or not it was true, right?
Well, we do.
Like,
When he's talking to his friend, it's like, okay, yeah.
okay, he did do it.
But also just by his reactions, the way he's reacting, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you're
Come
like,
on.
okay. I mean, yeah, I'm definitely leaning that yes, it is like more true that he did do these things. But yeah, it's almost at the end of the day too. It's like, you know, everybody is now against him, and it really does show how quickly, like, people can go from viewing somebody if something like this ever hits the fan. So the article comes out, everybody is essentially against him. His financial advisor is like, I think you need to look into finding a new financial advisor because I don't want to be affiliated with anything like this. So, and turns out that he is the rightful owner of the house. So he goes to Detroit to try and, you know, get it all cleaned up so that way he might be able to sell it. He gets there, recognizes that there are some people in the house, and that's what leads him down into the tunnel, which is funny because he literally, I don't understand. Like, this is just, I know that this is stuff that needs to happen in movies for the plot to play out, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, he gets down there, he sees the secret door open, and he just starts to go in. No
He's
hesitation.
doing it for square footage, though.
Well, he is, but, like, still, like, I mean, I don't know.
But
I would just be
again,
like, I'd close that up and hide that and be like, you know what?
I feel like that just goes to show his character, though. He sees something weird as fuck in this house that he's owned and rents out as an Airbnb, and then he goes down there and he's trying to sell the place, and so obviously there's more square footage, you get more money for the property. And so he goes down there and he's seeing this as like an advantage, like this is an opportunity for him. So he has to see how far it is so he can try to figure out the square footage to make more money. So, like, I think it makes sense. And I feel like it go, like, you know, when you have her going down there, she's obviously freaked out and like concerned. He sees all the same shit she does, and he's just like, look at this. And he just keeps measuring. You see cages with like dog bowls, and you see other rooms and like weird shit, but he just doesn't care because he, you know, he's just trying to make money. None of that matters to him until we see her again. And we also see the room where there's you have like your TV and it's like the VCR and it's playing this like parenting sort of thing and like breastfeeding and I guess just like shit for like new parents, and it's playing, and the room is like lit up too, which is also weird compared to everything else. And it's like pink and it looks like someone actually lives there. But again, it's just like another room. And then we see Mama, I guess. Everyone's just calling her Mama. So we see Mama. And then they're down and the little, what is it? It's like a hole. And then we see our main girl again. She's down there.
Yeah, which apparently she's just been cooperating with what this mama creature has been just doing, because like she's like, you have to cooperate with her, otherwise shit doesn't go too well. So, you know, I mean, I understand. And I will say her reveal too, like I thought was kind of creepy too. Like when he dropped the flashlight and it's like going in and out and you see this thing. I don't know why I'm like a sucker for like those kind of scenes, because it's like flashing, it's dark, it's flashing, it's dark. And then the minute that you see something is like, it's just unsettling. Like, because I'm sitting there. And I mean, that's another fear of mine, is like if I drop a light and I'm like, you know, it's like flashing and it's dark, and then all of a sudden I see something at the end, and then terrifying. So yeah, really, really good reveal of the overall creature, you know, in my opinion. But at this point, it's like 50 minutes into the movie, and then we pretty much like spend the remainder of the time getting to know what this creature is, and like how this thing is and how it operates and whatnot. And it yeah, I don't know, it's just it's
so
weird.
this little part plays out, whatever, and then another new story, really unconventional way to tell a movie. But I don't know, I feel like it works for this, because then
it does.
Richard Brake, and you know that TikTok sound is like, Adam Sandler, what are you doing here? That's how I felt, because I was like, Richard Brake, what the fuck are you're in this movie?
Yeah.
And then and it's obviously like, it looks like it's probably like in the 60s or something. So we're doing a little flashback and we see Richard Brake, and he's like at like the pharmacy, like this little store, and he's getting stuff for like at home birthing and shit. So already I was like, and also he just plays, he almost always plays like the villainous type of character. And he just has this presence about him when he like gets out of that car and he's like driving. I was like, oh man, he's a bad guy. And so we get there, he's buying stuff for like at home birthing. And so the girl's like helping him. And then we see him like leaving, and he's watching a woman walk. And then he follows her to her house. And then he puts on his little jumpsuit, which reminded me of Michael Myers, because it's like blue, like the whole little suit. And goes to her house and is like, oh, we're here to like check out stuff. And it's just him, but he's like doing like a routine sort of checkup. Never let a stranger into your house, first of all. Maybe it's because it was a different time back then, but like now, I don't even care if you have credentials. Like, if we didn't talk about this prior, you're not coming into my house. But she lets him in, he goes up there, he pretends to do stuff, and then he unlocks her window. So then it's like, obviously we know what he's doing, so he can get back into her house later. But then, like, we don't really exactly find out what's going on from this moment. You can kind of like start putting pieces together. And he goes back to his house, which, you know, it's the same house we've been in. And his neighbor's like moving because like all the neighborhood's like going to shit basically. And he says like, I'm not leaving. And he does not, because we get back down. So right back to where we are now in the present, you know, Justin Long, he like gets out and he's like trying to like escape and stuff. And he finds another room. And Mama, I think, you know, if you're going to a room and if the thing that's after you turns around and doesn't want to go back there, that should be a sign that there's really something fucked up. And it's just like an old Richard Brake. He's like, you know, he looks like he's on his deathbed, basically. He's just in his room. And then Justin Long has no idea. So he's trying to help him out and stuff. And then he keeps like reaching for something. He like pushes it over. He fucking pulls out a gun. But before, you know, Justin Long realizes that, he sees all these tapes. And it's of a bunch of different women with a bunch of different sort of titles, like Redhead Gas Station and Spanking, like shit like that. A bunch of not good stuff. And he puts someone that's already ejected out. And we don't see it, but we can hear like sort of what's going on. And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then Richard Brake has a gun. So he gets out of there. And then, you know, I feel like it kind of goes fucking crazy. Our girl, she does get out, which I was surprised to see. She gets out and it's daylight and everything. And then the same man that ran up on her earlier helps her and was like, you shouldn't be here at night, blah, blah, blah. Like, we got to get to somewhere safe. She tries to talk to the cops saying, like, I've just been held captive. There's a man still down there. No one's believing her because they think she's like on drugs or something. And she even says, I'm not on drugs. Like, I know this sounds crazy, but like this is happening. But they like blow her off. They don't care. They go back to the house. They don't go into the house because they don't have like a warrant or anything. So they just leave, which it sucks because like we know it's true, even though Jesse Long, he's really not a great guy in this movie. So like honestly, didn't care if he lived or died, was hoping he would die. So then she pretty much fucking, it's nighttime. I feel like it got dark really fast, but we're not really sure of like the times. And she drives her fucking car into the thing. But like Mama's also like out of the house, which is also kind of weird to see because I didn't think she would come out of the house. But he does tell her that Mama hunts in the dark, basically. Like that's when she comes out.
Yeah.
So she's trying to save Justin Long's character, basically. She doesn't want to leave him.
Yeah.
Which again, I know like maybe it's the right thing to do, but come on. For this man that you just met down in this hole, I would still try to get you out, but I don't think I'm going back down there personally.
Right. Like if you're not with me when I'm initially getting out, I mean,
sorry.
SOL. So I will say, I want to talk about the cop characters in this movie. These are some of the worst cops I've ever seen in a fucking movie, period. Like, they are awful police officers. Like, I mean, first of all, like, the way that they are introduced is when she runs up on, like, you know, I've never seen a cop like that when someone was screaming, saying that they needed help. Their first reaction was not get your hand off the door. Like, he's like, get your hand off the... I was like, okay. Immediately, I was like, okay, so that's crazy. Like, you know... But, like, then they just, like, get worse. Like, they don't believe her. Like, they don't even, like, go into the house. Nothing. Like, I mean, there's nothing that they can do. And I think that, if I remember correctly, I've only seen the movie once. I believe that they couldn't go into the house because she didn't have the keys or anything like that, right? Like, they couldn't,
so
like,
it's
break
like,
in.
This isn't your house.
Yeah.
You have no proof to show, like, you're staying here or anything. So, like, what do you want us to do? They couldn't just go in.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't know, man. I know there's, like, protocols and shit like that, and you can't just search someone's house usually. But, like, when they're sitting there saying they've been held captive in this house...
Yeah.
Usually, because, like, I know that's happened in, like, true crime cases where someone's captive and they escape and they go to, like, the neighbors and, like, hey, this just happened. And usually, you know, it's taken seriously. But it's not taken seriously and they just leave. And so it's kind of up to her, you know, whether she's going to leave or stay. And she decides to stay and help them.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, so they end up, they get another call and they just leave. That's
literally.
It. And then, like, as they were leaving, she got told to calm down about 5 times. And then, yeah, so they left. And then, yeah, so she does drive that car into the house and goes in and helps him. And he comes out. And then they realize that Mama is gone. Where? Who the heck knows? So then I mean, this homeless guy, like, or this guy, he's definitely homeless. Like, I mean, look at the area that, like, they stay in. But my first reaction, I mean, I get it that thing is still out there, but it's like, I'd be like, we need to get out of here, dude. Like, we need to actually, like, get out of this vicinity. But they're right at the end of the fucking street. Right at the end of the street.
Yeah.
Like, this thing couldn't see where
worry.
they're going.
she never comes back here. Like, I've lived here for however long and never had a problem with her. I would not care. Because, she got shot. Justin Long actually shoots her, so they can't really get too far, and they need to go to the hospital. Which, again, like, take me to the hospital now. If I just got shot, like, I don't want to sit here. And it's almost like it kind of looks like a water tower. It's like they're in, like, this metal sort of, like, circular building. And so they're just sitting there. And obviously, we know what's going to happen. He's sitting there saying, it's safe, they're good, never bothered. She jumps in, kills him. It's like, yeah, obviously that's going to happen.
No, honestly, I saw that coming from a mile away.
Literally, it's like she's going to jump through. It's like the Kool-Aid man.
Yeah. Honestly, I was like, well, I didn't know that she was going to come through the wall. I thought that she was like going to like jump down and like land on him or something like that. Or that, like, that's what I thought initially. But like, yeah, as soon as he said that, I'm like, and here she comes, like right there. Ironic that, he just finished his line and voila, she's there.
Crazy timing.
So, she's like just sitting back there like, go ahead, say it. Say that you've never had any issues with me. Do it. Jumps through the wall, gets
literally.
And then we get a pretty good suspenseful, final scene, like a chase scene between everyone, and then that thing comes to life and breaks Justin Long's head in half. Like, I mean, that was crazy. That was another crazy kill. I was like, oh shit. Okay.
But before that happens, they're running up and they're up here, on top of the thing. Justin Long, like, fucking pushes her off. Because the whole time, like, everything that's going on in his, like, career and stuff. And then, like, we know he's really not that great of a guy. Like, we know he's not a good guy. After the whole conversation with his friend, like, we can, see, like, okay, then yeah, like, no, this is not good. But then he's like, talking like, I don't know if I'm a good person or if I'm a bad person, all this. And then he fucking chunks her off of the top. And it's like, you are a terrible person. Like, you are such a shitty person. And then Mama goes fucking jumping after her to save her baby. And then they're down there. Justin Long dies. Finally. And then you have her laying there, like, Mama's like cradling her almost. And she like wants to take her home, and she's like, no, like, I can't go anywhere. Like, I was just fucking pushed off this tower. Like, I'm here right now. And then she gets the gun, and then she shoots Mama.
Cuts to black. Barbarian.
And then we get Be My Baby playing.
We do.
We do.
We do.
We do.
What a weird movie, man.
It was really weird.
It was a very weird movie.
Sometimes it's good to have something weird. Kind of how when we were talking about Terrifier 2, to have something that feels like such a callback to, like, 80s movies that we're getting and seeing, like, a lot of people love. I feel like it was the same thing for this. Like, I saw a lot of people beyond, like, the horror community talk about Barbarian. It's all over my TikTok right now. So, again, like, I think it's really cool to see horror movies kind of, expand into just, like, a general audience. And so I think it's cool and it's fun. I like that wasn't something too serious, but it had serious moments. And, like, I don't know. I thought it was just a good time.
Sorry, my Mac gave me a notification saying if I didn't plug it in, it was going to die. So, I know, right? Hey, at least it wasn't, like, super loud and obnoxious to,
Yeah.
Like hey, we haven't had one of those in weeks. So,
wow, it's almost like,
it's almost
when
like
I say something and you do it, it kind of works.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Arrogant much?
A little bit.
But yeah, no, I mean, overall, I gotta say, I think that Barbarian, it was definitely entertaining. I had a good time with it, and I thought that, like, I actually bought into Tessa's character. I actually thought that she was very likable. I will also say that Bill Skarsgård's Keith was also very likable. Of the three characters that we follow, AJ was definitely the least likable. But to a degree, it's like, you were almost kind of rooting for him to get out. But I didn't really give a shit if he did or didn't. I mean, he was a piece of shit anyway. So, but yeah, so overall I thought that like it was a good time. That's all I'll say. And the creature, that obviously was something that I I had no idea about. So, like I wasn't
No.
really sure what route they were going, if this was a human, if it was a creature, if it was something like out of this world or something. So yeah, I was definitely surprised. And I had a good time with the movie. But again, I do feel like the movie did kind of get a little overhypey, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, it's definitely not a bad movie at all.
No, I thought it was a fun time. Kind of like a good sort of popcorn movie. Just have a good
Thanks for
time.
stopping in, 5-star. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Sorry, Destiny, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just saw that he was heading out.
I thought it was fun. Just a good time. Really upset Bill Skarsgård died so early. Which, another thing that I like that they did with the trailer, for one, they didn't show Richard Brake at all, which I thought was smart. And then for two, in the trailer, we see so much more Bill Skarsgård, and we barely see Justin Long. So going into it, I thought that Bill Skarsgård was going to have a main part throughout the whole movie, and I thought maybe when they get there, Justin Long will already be there. Like they're going to discover Justin Long down there, just from like the little tiny bit we saw in the trailer. And I really like that they kind of flip the script, because Bill Skarsgård, compared to like Justin Long, he's like barely in it, because he's only in it the first maybe 15 minutes, and then the rest were kind of following AJ. So I like that they did that, because again, from the trailer, I really thought this was just going to be a straightforward sort of movie, and I was like, oh, this is going to be okay. Like it's not going to be anything, crazy or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I was wrong. And I'm happy I was wrong, because I feel like the marketing they did with what little we got, I feel like it's just I had no idea that this movie would have gone where it did at all. I thought it was just going to be a typical little horror movie, but it wasn't.
No, yeah, it was definitely one of those horror movies that threw some really good surprises towards us. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't even put it on like, I'm not saying that it's bad. I just do think that it was overhyped, and I'd probably put it like right in the middle for my favorite horror movies of 2022, at least as of right now. I know that there's still a couple more that I'd like to watch. I'm seeing a lot of stuff like on like horror TikTok and stuff. I'm seeing a lot of stuff about See No Evil or Speak No Evil, I think.
Speak No Evil.
I'm hearing a lot of stuff about that. I've seen a couple people say that that's their favorite horror movie of the year, like right by Terrifier 2. So
I thought it was good. It's definitely not my favorite. It might not even make my top 10, honestly.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I do want to watch that. I know that that's on Shudder. I know that The Menu is coming out this month, which I'm actually, my sister actually texted me. She asked when she was visiting for Thanksgiving if I wanted to go. I mean, it's a trip to the movies. I'm like, are you dumb? Of course I want to go. Like,
dumb?
Right. So I'm definitely excited to see that. The cast of that movie is phenomenal, by the way. So I've got some pretty high hopes for that one. But yeah, I think Barbarian is a good time. All right, let's catch up with some peeps in the chat. What we got? Where did we leave off at? Antanas says that he watched my Halloween fan film, thought it was phenomenal. Well, Antanas, thank you. I'm glad that you have seen The Haddonfield Nightmare, and I appreciate that a lot. T. Parker says that I saw it opening night and had a blast with my audience, made the experience so much better. I will say, I think that if you saw this movie with an audience, I mean, sometimes an audience can make or break a movie. Like, like if you're at a comedy, see, I hate going to see comedies without a packed house. So I'm like, we need to see this on like either during a very busy time, or go on like an opening night, like because that's like what makes those movies the best, is like laughing along with the crowds. or even getting scared and hearing the gasps in horror movies. So I can imagine that there were some gasps throughout this one.
Yeah, I really wish I would have saw this one in theaters because that would have just been so fun to see everyone's reactions. Because I watched this by myself in my room, so
So did I.
It was just me. Well, I would text me. I'd be like, "Oh my god," because she had already seen it, and because I tried watching it at work that one day, the day it came out, and of course my fucking service was not cooperating. So I watched up until the point where Keith goes in the tunnel. I was like, I'm gonna have to wait till I get home and watch it because it's just not working out. And she's like, that's when shit's gonna go crazy. I was like, I know, like I can feel it. I can feel the shit's about to go down. Phone was letting me. So I was like texting her when shit was happening because I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
So, but it was just me in my room.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, I honestly was just chilling, also just watching it, and I was like, man, I wish I would have seen this in theaters.
Yeah.
So, because my sister saw it in theaters the same day that we watched it. It's still in theaters, so she went to see it in theaters, and she texted me and was like saying really good things about it too. And I was like, oh man, like, I wish I would have seen it in theaters. But I didn't. Goodreal says that I really liked it, but I'm not as crazy about it as most people are. The second half fell flat for me. The second half it definitely did fall flat for me too. Like, because I was really enjoying it. I was very much enjoying the movie, and then it was almost like after we got introduced to the creature, or Mama, whatever the hell it is you want to call this thing, or I know they were calling it Mama, but like I feel like it was after we got introduced to Mama that it just kind of started getting a little slower. Because I was very intrigued. Like I was like right there, and then all they had to do is just continue that, and then they didn't. They decided to go a different story route. But I do feel like that this also might be one that some people might appreciate more over the years. Could be wrong on that, but I don't know. I still definitely very much thought it was good. Ashton says Justin Long deserves to be in more films. He is a great actor. I totally agree. I love Justin Long, and I love his range of stuff because one of the first movies growing up that I saw him in was Dodgeball. And I love that movie. That movie is great. So, and then it's like I've seen him in like numerous things, like, over the years. He was in New Girl for a little while. He's been in a couple different horror projects, and then he was in this, and yeah, he was really good in this movie. And he actually had a lot bigger of a role than I thought he was going to have. Like, I knew that he was going to be in the movie, but I didn't know his role was pretty much going to be the entire second half of the movie. So he has a lot of screen time, and we get a lot of time with him as a character. And I don't really like him that much, and I don't think anybody does, but, we still have and spend a lot of time with him.
I really like this part made me laugh when he's like trying to get into a laptop and there's a passcode on it, and he fucking takes it and just chunks it like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's literally nothing. Like that's her fucking laptop, and he just fucking... That
right?
made me laugh. I was like, you are such a dick. Like, you don't fucking care about anyone but yourself.
Right. It's
you could just see that by him just...
It's like, I get it. You're an actor. The price on that or whatever computer might not or laptop might... I almost said MacBook or whatever. I think that's what it was.
I think it is a MacBook.
Either way, there's no reason to get that confused about it. I'm an idiot.
So, like,
no,
$1,200,
but yeah,
$1,200
just tosses it across the freaking room, and I'm like, I know that might not be a whole lot to you, but that's somebody's computer, bro.
Seriously, and I know you think these people are just staying in your house, but they're not. And I like that too, because it establishes how long she's been down there. Because it's been 2 weeks. Because they said, the services, they don't come clean up after they're gone. It's just when new people rent out, they're like, well, we haven't had anyone here since 2 weeks. So she's been down there for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
That is crazy. That
damn.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That is a long time.
When we were talking about top of the year, 5-star says Halloween Ends isn't even in my top 100 movies of 2022. Damn. Not even in the top 100? Lordy, that's bad. Goodreal says he doesn't believe it. So this is when you were talking about people that was at the door. He was like, if Joseph Quinn was there, you'd absolutely.
I would pass out, I think. I would just.
Yep.
Immediately.
Open the door and be like, can I help you? Nope.
And then he would help me and save me. And fall in love with me. You know the rest.
Yeah, all that stuff.
All that good stuff.
Yep. Misael says that this movie rules. Freaking rules. T. Parker says top 5 horror films of the year for me are Scream, Halloween Ends, The Black Phone, Pearl, and Nope. Barbarian would be in my top 10. Hey, solid top 5 list. You know, I'm very curious, honestly, because we as horror fans had a lot of really good horror movies this year. I am curious to see like who's gonna rank what where, like when we do our stream for our top favorite of the year. That is definitely for sure. T. Parker also says justice for Keith. He deserved better.
I agree.
No, yeah, he got his head smashed in. That is for sure.
I was really upset.
Brettman says that it looked like a Saw trap room in the one room that I agree. I was actually getting some Saw vibes. I'm like, that's like a reference
and like the coloring and everything.
Yeah, it's like a reference to Saw, I think. Ashton, spiders don't scare me. Snakes, on the other hand, you know what? Snakes don't bother me as much. I mean, snakes are definitely still like, I mean, you got to be careful if they're poisonous. Same thing with spiders though. Like poisonous spiders are, and so are poisonous snakes. So yeah, I don't know. How about I just stay away from everything?
Yeah, I don't want either one of those.
Well, it's funny because it's like on ASU's campus, like what do you call it? There are snakes like all over the place. So, you know, like we're out in the desert. So we see snakes out there.
Do y'all have scorpions?
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen a scorpion yet. Since I've been out here, I haven't seen a scorpion.
Apparently you're supposed to use your flashlight because they're reflective.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So always have your flashlight on when you're outside.
Okay. Good to know. I know that we have javelinas, which are like some sort of, they're like pig-like creatures. They're apparently also very mean, especially if they're having babies around the time. Like they're very
Wait, what are they called?
Javelinas.
Oh.
Hold on, let me look one up.
What's the difference between that and a hog?
Oh. Here's what they are. I mean, see, it kind of looks adorable. Like, stand by. I mean, kind of looks adorable. Right?
No.
No, you don't think?
Ew, it looks like a cow.
These are javelinas. They're like they're very. Yeah, I mean, this looks like a pig, right? Yeah. So Gory's like he's asking pig-like creatures. Like this looks like a pig, right? Does it not?
Kind of. It looks like a pig with like feathers.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So like a javelina, like it's yeah.
Huh.
Look at this article, right? Only in Arizona. It says javelina in Arizona gets trapped in car, takes it for a ride. What the shit?
That's actually pretty amazing.
Like, what is going on? Like, I just
impressive.
recognized that too, right? That's insane. So yeah, this is like these are around Arizona, and these are actually on ASU's campus a lot. So apparently they're supposed to be very mean, especially if they're like nesting or especially if they're having babies. But oh yeah, look at the teeth look at the damn teeth. Oh my gosh. Look at that. So imagine getting bit by that thing. Hell no. Hell no.
And it's angry.
Yeah. So Yeah, they're supposed to be pretty mean, but yeah, these are around Arizona, so yeah, we got a lot of things around here. Got bobcats, a lot of them around here. So Good Real says, I just realized how Braden is afraid of spiders and he is hosting the Spider's Nest. Well, hey, here's the thing though. Spider's Nest is based off of Spider-Man. Like, you know, because I mean, Spider-Man's my favorite superhero from Marvel ever. So, you know, that's what it's based off of. What? Can I help you? Yeah.
I'm just listening to you.
Oh well, you were like squinting your eyes, like you're like, I don't know. Okay. But yeah, anyone else have any other thoughts for the night? Anyone have anything else that they want to say about Barbarian? Destiny, do you have anything else that you want to say?
No, I'm glad I finally watched it. I'm glad I went
Same.
in without it being spoiled.
Same.
Because like I
Same.
said, all I knew is that sort of once you get to the movie, it switches directions. That's all I knew. And people, like Victoria said, it feels like you're watching a different movie. But I like the way it all kind of tied together and stuff. Like, it all made sense. It all leads back to this one house. So I liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. You know, wish it had more Bill Skarsgård. That's my complaint. There's shock value to it, I guess. But still upset to see him go so early on. But, you know, the hot ones usually die. So, yeah.
Typical.
I'm used to it at this point.
Typical. Can't ever get attached to characters, that's for sure. You know. Speaking of which, you guys see any Stranger Things fans in here see that episode 1 of season 5 is called The Crawl?
The Crawl. Oh, some dust flew when I did that. Got too excited.
The Crawl?
The Crawl. Wonder what that could mean.
Is the question is what the hell's his name? What's his name? What's Joseph Quinn's character's name? Eddie. Is
Eddie gonna be crawling?
Is Eddie crawling out of the
upside down?
Is he coming out? Is he coming out of the upside down?
Please. Like, as soon as I saw the crawl, I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Because in Master of Puppets, come crawling faster? I don't know.
We're gonna see.
You want to hear some shit, dude? So I followed the Joseph Quinn page on Facebook, and we still don't know if this is 100% official, but it seems like it is. You know, it seems like it's like, because there's not like one that's like verified, and this account shared the question mark in the Stranger Things font, and I was like, oh my god, I was crying. I was like, he's back, he's fucking back. And then they said the account got hacked, and I was like, how dare you? How fucking dare you? And then we got that, and I was like, I don't know, man. I try not to get my hopes up because I keep doing this, and I've come to terms that he's not coming back. But then they released this. I'm like, he's alive.
You're like, it's confirmed. I don't care what anyone else says.
It's confirmed in my head.
It is.
And
confirmed.
whenever I watch this new season, and he's not there, I'm gonna be quite upset.
You're gonna be quite disappointed.
I will be. So I'm trying not to.
Gory says, like a pub crawl. We going on a pub crawl? Yeah, that's gonna be the episode. Everyone's just going on a pub crawl. That's it.
Yeah. I'm sure that's what's gonna be happening.
Final season of Stranger Things opens with all of them on a pub crawl, and I'm shutting it off. So
I'm shutting it. Have you seen that? There's like this meme where it's like shit's happening, and then it's like Steve and Robin talking, and then it's like Steve, and he's like, "Don't worry, I've seen Stranger Things," and then like I've seen Stranger Things, and then it's like, then I shoot my TV. Something about that, I think about that all the time, and it makes me laugh. Like them just saying like, I've seen Stranger Things, and then I shoot my TV. So, you know, I don't know. I hope he's still alive. I'm still
Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
I do too, but I mean, we're gonna see. We'll see.
We'll see.
We got about a year and a half before we find out, but we'll see. I know it's just sickening, right?
But then this is the last time we're gonna wait for a new season.
I know. I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy the hype leading up to it. It also makes me wonder if they're going to do 2 parts like they did with
I
season
can't handle
4.
2 parts again. I need to
So,
watch it all.
well,
Once
I mean, it would make sense. I mean, it would make sense. I mean, Yu's doing that now also. By the way, we need to talk about you when that comes out. Like, we need to do a whole You show because, I mean, that would take, I mean, we might have to do 2 episodes. We might actually have to do like seasons 1 and 2, and then we might have to do seasons 3 and 4. Because, well, that's going to be 2 parts also, because they're doing part 1, like I think it's March 1st, and then part 2 April 1st or something like that. I'm like, why are they doing these so close together? Like normally when they do part 1 and part 2, it used to be like a year in advance. So Misael says a whole show about Destiny. Oh my gosh.
me.
Yeah, everyone's already saying, don't we talk about Destiny enough though?
Y'all are annoying.
So we need to talk about you, Destiny. No,
I want to talk about me. I want to talk about
I want to talk about number 1.
No, no, no,
I
no,
love
no.
that song. That's a great song. Toby Keith is absolutely amazing. So,
But occasionally,
yep, that's how
Yep.
it goes. But yeah, guys, so that's our thoughts on Barbarian. Thank you guys so much as always for tuning in to Fear Freaks. We appreciate you guys all very much. Destiny, what you got coming up this week? What's going on?
I think Fear Freaks is a Sunday. I could be wrong.
Fear Freaks?
Not Fear Freaks. Back from the Dead.
I honestly was about to be like, when the shit did we talk about that? I was like, look at that.
What?
Destiny's throwing shit on our schedule and I don't even know about. So
I feel like all night I've been thrown off. Okay, I don't even have my eyebrows on. Like,
oh my god,
I've been not.
You've just been not having it today. Like
I was like, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna do a full face of makeup. I was gonna curl my hair.
No,
Fully get ready.
Y'all should have. You guys honestly should have seen her. Like when she got on here, like her face was like she just woke up and she has been asleep for 5 years and had no clue what year it was. Like she was like, "Is our show right now?" At first, like you made me question it. You were like, "Wait." You were like, wait, what? And I thought it was Tuesday night, honestly, at first. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, is it Tuesday right now? Like, I'm like, there's no way it is, right? Like,
literally. And I get on here like this. Not even ready. It's fine. Next week, though, I will be prepared.
Yeah.
No, now that I know.
No, it's okay. I get it. Don't even worry about it. It happens to the best of us. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so Back to the Dead on Sunday for you. I see Good Real saying that he sees how it is. He's got you. He sees how it is. You think it's okay. You don't need to explain anything here. This is a safe space until we get off of this, and then you're gonna get a load of shit. But hey. No, but I think I'm done for the week. I think that we've got the Spider's Nest starting early next week. We don't have a date for that yet, but that is on a different YouTube channel. So if you guys are not subscribed to the Spider's Nest yet, make sure you guys head on over, check that out. We got a huge ranking that we're doing. We're ranking the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. So be ready for that. Yeah, we've got like 32 movies to rank. So it is going to be a long one. We're kicking it off with a bang. But before that, we're actually doing like a 45-minute like tease at getting to know the hosts and talking about our experience with superheroes and Marvel and all that stuff. So it's really going to be like an epic 4.5 hour stream probably. So head on over, check that out, subscribe. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up over there, along with a lot of great stuff coming up on Fear Freaks. We're getting into the holiday season, so I'm sure we're going to have some really fun holiday horror to discuss in the near future as well, which I can't believe that we are already coming up to the holidays. And on the week of December 2nd, since Destiny and I are going to be celebrating 1 year together on this show, we'll have like more of a celebration episode with everyone than actually talking about a topic. It'll just be the Fear Freaks 1 year celebration. So
Woo.
I know, get amped, and we're gonna drink and we're gonna have a good time. So yeah, guys, thank you guys so much as always for watching. Look forward to more videos very soon. And if you guys like this, don't forget to join us on our journey to 15,000 subscribers. And we will see you guys next time on Fear Freaks. Have a great night, guys.